First off, last year you get 10 conference wins, you win a playoff game. How do you assess last year?
Well, it was a good year. I mean, obviously we started playing a whole lot better at the end of the year than we did in the beginning of the season. I was very proud of our kids, of how much we competed and how much better we had gotten. So yeah, 10 wins was great, but clearly not enough to go as far as we would like. So we're certainly hoping for at least double digits wins again this year in the conference and hopefully a little bit further in the playoffs.
Big part of that success last year was that senior class you had. Talk about the mark that they left on the program and now the void that you now have to fill with them not in your lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, they all had their little nooks for our program and what they needed to do. Obviously, Campbell was Defensive Player of the Year again, and that's a big one to have to replace. She led the team in block shots, she led the team in rebounding, she did okay scoring for us, and she's so athletic, and that's a big spot to have to replace, and we can't do that with just one kid. I think it's going to be a combination of kids that'll have to do it for us for this year to replace that one spot. Alyssa, you know, a veteran kid, been here around the program a long time, always played hard, played well, kind of was a force behind scenes a little bit, and just her determination. We'll miss that, but I think, again, we can make up the production with the current kids who are here because we're expecting a lot from Natalia Lee and Kelsey Watson to pick up some of the leadership that Alyssa had in there. Hard one is Nicole Donahue. I mean, she had an up and down year, got hurt a couple times, but was a really good outside shooter. I think that's going to be a combination of kids having to step up for that, and unfortunately those are going to be younger kids. So depending on how well the freshmen do, we'll have to make up for Nick, but Nick was really good six-man coming off the bench. I think we have a good kid who's going to be able to come off the bench, but clearly not the size that Nicole did, but I think can create some havoc and do some stuff with that. And then the last one is Elise Gaffney, and she came along really, really good at the end of the year. So we might not be able to make that part up right off the beginning, but I think some of these younger kids who hadn't played, that were underclassmen, or some of the freshmen coming in, will eventually be able to make up the kind of production that, you know, Lisa did during the end of the year. I think they'll be able to make that up this year.
You talked about two of the leaders you kind of see for this year in Nat and Kelsey. Talk about the growth you've seen from them now. You know, Nat being a 4-year starter for you, and Kelsey really improving a lot from year 1 to year 2. Yeah,
I think the different thing is, you know, Nat is definitely just way more comfortable, and she's going to run this team. She wants to be the leader. You know, she's the only senior, which is hard because you don't have anybody else to lean on, but the group is so close. We had too many kids last year with 18 on the roster. We are at 13 right now. 12 of them have been practicing. One we're still waiting to get a little healthier, so we'll see how that falls into the mix. But they are such a tight group. They're working real hard. You know, Natalia is our skipper, and she's running the show, and she looks good at it. She wants that responsibility. I think you saw her take over some of that at the end of last year when we moved her to the point. Probably about the last 6 games of the season, she really started to push herself and excel a little bit more. So she's had that taste of experience at the point. She is going to be our point guard this year coming up, and I think she's going to do a great job there, and I think she's excited about it. It is her last go-around. It's her last hurrah, so she's fired up. Kelsey just looks so much better. She's more and more comfortable. It has really improved her outside game some, so I think that's going to be a big positive for her and for us. And she's obviously looking to do more than she did a year ago. She was still kind of in the shadows of Campbell and Alyssa and Nick because they're all along the post kind of position, but I really think she's going to step up and shine this year.
Some of those other returners you have coming back, who are some of those you kind of see their playing time increase and have a significant role on this team?
Well, I mean, look at Jenna. She's probably the best three-point shooter we had coming back this year, and she had some big games last year. Was spotty, some games played a lot, sometimes didn't play a lot. I think we're certainly looking for her to take a next step up. She's improved her game. She's worked very hard over the summer, so I think she's ready to come in here and help us, and she may end up being a starter for us. I think if you look at Kaylee Fugel, who came off the bench last year as a freshman, was just kind of an everything person, did everything. You know, wasn't the superstar in any one thing, but can cheek a shot for you, was scrambling, would dive on the ball, for, you know, on the floor for loose balls. She would get some rebounds here and there. She's one of those ones that does a lot of things, which help the other kids who might have some specialties. So she's one who may possibly end up in the starting lineup as well. A couple other kids returning. Kara Funk was hurt some of last year and missed it, but had some really good spots that she showed very well at, so we're looking forward to her being completely healthy, and she's doing a nice job for us right now. So that's another kid who, you know, maybe didn't get the minutes and will be much further along right now, but I still think is going to make a good jump for us from last year to this year and helping our program go very well. A couple other kids had some minutes, Gina Lewis, Kifona Ferguson, and Sabrina Jackson. I think they're all going to platoon to help our 5 spot make up for some of what Campbell's missing, where we lost with Campbell leaving. So that's going to be one area there. There are a couple freshmen, I think, that are going to be pretty good. I'm real excited about Mariah Majetsky is another kid in the post player, very physical, very strong. Hopefully she could bring some of that and maybe be able to get, 4 or 6 points a game, maybe 6 rebounds to help start making up some of the losses that we occurred from those post positions graduating. Taylor Thames is another freshman, I think, has the athletic ability, is only going to continue to get better, kind of like Natalia did when she was a freshman, kept getting better as the season went on. I think Taylor would be able to do that as well.
Looking at the Eastern Division, how do you kind of see that in the preseason poll? How do you see some of the top dogs in the conference, and where do you see KU fitting into that?
Well, it's interesting because some people lost some really good players. Some people didn't lose too much of anything. I think Westchester, they have everybody back. They're going to be very good. And one kid who was hurt for them last year, Ben Voy, is back too. So they have a lot of people. The question is going to be how well they can manipulate all those people getting some minutes to do well, but they are going to be very good. You got Shippensburg, they basically returned everybody back again too, added a couple transfers. They're going to be very solid, and we were able to beat them last year, and when we lost a close game to them. So it's going to be one of those that who knows what's going to happen with it, but they're good, and I think those are probably 2 of the top teams. Millersville lost some players. They had a kid who was hurt, so they're going to be interesting. Bloomsburg lost some good players, but he had some transfers come in as well, and I think they had some good core kids back, so they're going to be real interesting. I think the only 2 for sure are going to be Shippensburg, Westchester. After that, we're going to be in the mix with Millersville, Bloomsburg, East Stroudsburg. I don't know. It's going to be a little crazy in that area. And then you can never discount Lock Haven. They lost some kids, but they have some veteran kids back. Channing, very athletic team. You never know who they're going to have in there, but they could be somebody that upsets you here and there. And then Mansfield, and that's just they playing up at their place is always a tough place to play. So, let's face it, there is no cupcakes in our league, but 2 really good teams, and then there's a group of us, I think, right in the middle group.
Where would you like to see this team come February in the last stretch of your season?
Well, if we mature and can do some of the things I think we're capable of, I don't know that we have any particular superstars. We have 2 really good players in Natalia Lee and Kelsey Watson, but I don't think overall you're going to go, oh, that's Edavia Campbell, that's a superstar here or that. We don't have that. I think we have some really good players. I think as a whole, if we continue to mature, I think our group as a whole can be more successful than last year's group.